If you are experiencing foundation issues, get a free estimate from Ox Foundations.
Joining us this morning is the head football coach and athletic director at Fayetteville High School, Coach John Limbaugh, and an open week for the Wolves this week. Coach John Limbaugh show brought to you, of course, by Lori Darling's in Fayetteville, Alabama. I had some fish at Lori Darling's the other day. I ate it for 2 days or so much, man.
It's good stuff, right?
Oh, yeah, no doubt. Hey, coming off the Woodland game, a little short on the scoreboard end of it, but some things you found out about your guys.
Jimmy, great ball game. It really was. I hated we had to come up on the losing end of it. But our team didn't play very well the first half. We didn't execute like we should have, and that's my responsibility. That's my fault. I take full responsibility for that. But that second half, we really came back and looked really good. We really moved the ball a lot better, and defensive. We got some stops, and we did what we had to do. We came back and kicked a 34-yard by Levi Phillips, and he was a bright spot in the game, and took the lead, 16-14. Ended up losing that thing to 16, you know. But we didn't hold it there at the end, but we never should let it get to that point. We should have done some things the first half. So what we got to learn to do is get a better jump, get a better start to the ball game, execute early and often. And, you know, the whole time I was like, with our coaches talking, you know, I hate that we got this open weeks early in the year. You know, it's just awful. We want to get this thing going, and especially with the COVID. We want to play these ball games and get things going. And that open week couldn't come at a better time. They say your best improvement comes between weeks 1 and 2. Well, we'll go between weeks 1 and 3 then.
Or should have a lot of improvement.
Or week 0 and 2, that's right. So we get a little extra time to get that extra improvement. But, you know, I thought, you know, Brady Reacher looked fantastic. He played a hard game on both sides of the ball. Our quarterback did some nice things as well. Levi looked good. But really and truly, our offensive line played great. We could run block a little bit better, but their pass blocking was great. Fantastic job by offensive line and Blake Ritchie, you know, leading that charge there with the offensive line, senior leadership there. So, but we're going to be okay. We're going to be all right.
Why you think the slow start? Maybe from the long layoff or something?
Well, you've got a long layoff. You've got nerves. You've got a long trip there, hour and a half on that school bus. So it's a little bit
Yellow
of
bird.
Yeah, yellow dog. But we really and truly we've done that before. Is get those slow starts. Sometimes teams do. Sometimes you get that quick start and you get going. But you just hope at some point in the game you catch up and you get to going. The switch, somebody flip the switch. And a lot of times it takes you know, into the first quarter, second quarter for that to happen. But for us, it was third quarter for it. It took place last week. And it was a little too late.
Talk about some of the keys that just kind of stand out in your mind is maybe a point to where if we could have done this or done that, it could have swung to our side.
Well, really and truly, if we could have got the short pass going a little bit better, they were giving up some of that. We didn't really get that going like we should. We were dropping some balls, so we've been working on our receivers. We had a few bad snaps, so we're working on that. And you know, our center, Kaz Duke, does a great job, and I don't think he's had a bad snap all week in practice. So we really, our kids are great kids. They're fighters. They're a very intelligent ball team, and they know what we've got to do. We watched film on us, and we've watched film on our coming opponent next week. But this week mainly has been about us. Fixing us. So, you know, offensively, we got a few things to do. Defensively, be where we're supposed to be in that space we're supposed to be in. So we're pleased as coaches. I think we had a great practice the last couple of days. Lightning ran us off the field yesterday, so we just went in and watched film, and then went back out on the practice field when the weather went away. So we're just doing what we need to do to fix Fayetteville right now.
Were there any guys that maybe one or two guys that stood out that maybe it hadn't caught your eye so much in camp, but when the lights go on, sometimes it kind of jump starts people. Anybody that kind of stood out in your mind from last night, other than the guys you just mentioned?
Well, Camden Keaton, for one, he plays receiver for us and an outside linebacker. And Camden Keaton's a player. He gets in there and goes. And then we had Zeke DeLoach. Zeke DeLoach is a receiver for us, and it's our quarterback's younger brother. But he is from the Deloach family, and Zeke really stood out there in the ball game. Looked good, ran good routes. Even when the ball wasn't coming to him, he still did his job. Mm-hmm. So he kind of stood out to us. Mm-hmm.
So, with an open week so early in the season, and you feel like it's coming at a good time, what do you try to get accomplished, knowing you don't have a game this week and you got a full week of preparation next week?
Well, the excitement has been able to fix what was wrong in the first game. To use that first game more or less like a preseason game, which, it's not, but it is in a lot of respects because it's not a regional opponent. So you can take that first game, learn those mistakes, fix them, win or lose, fix those mistakes, and be ready to go for that next ball game. So we've used it more or less as a spring training type of atmosphere this week. We really challenged our guys, and some of the drills we've done, we've challenged them and had them to come out, and we've seen some good hitting this week and making good sticks and locking up on their tackles. So that's what you want. You don't want a bunch of arm tackling. You want people to hit, lock up, and carry people to the ground. We've seen that this week in practice. So working on those basic things, there's nothing like blocking and tackling in the game of football. So we've been working on that.
How was the game as far as COVID-19 guidelines? Are you pleased with that?
I was. I thought Willen did a really fine job. All our fans came. They set apart our team. We went by the rules that were in place. I think everything went really, really well. At the end of the ball game, I thought it was great. Our team stood at the hashes on each side of the field facing each other. We did kind of like a little gladiator salute like this at each other to show honor and respect. I think that went off great. That's something the coach and I agreed to before the game got started, and the kids did that. And you have one captain going out. Rather than the whole. And
who was the captain this week?
It was Ritchie, Brady Ritchie. And this next week we hadn't picked that person yet, but I have 4 permanent team captains. I haven't done that till last year, and Blake Manchin and Brady Ritchie were my permanent captains last year. Well, this year we have 4 of them, Brady and Blake Ritchie, because those kids. Let me tell you something. And all 4 of my captains, they do things the right way. They do things the right way in the classroom, which is more important than anywhere. They do the right things on the practice field, do the right things in the locker room. So, those 2 guys, Camden Keaton and Pacey DeLoach, are our team captains. But, we're choosing you in each game, so forth like that. Usually it's who plays a really good game, who gives total effort. Might not be who scored 2 or 3 touchdowns, might be the kid that gave the greatest effort in the game. So,
and you earn it. It's not just given to you.
Right, you have to earn that.
Yeah.
And that's what my 4 captains earned it from their play last year, from their off-season work, being in the weight room, being where they were supposed to be. So they earned that.
So off this week, Horseshoe Bend, first home game next Friday night.
Horseshoe Bend, we're very excited about them coming in. And, they got a win last week against the traditional powerhouse in Wadley. They got a couple of guys that are pretty good, a couple of backs that can get to the outside if you don't contain them, and they can run pretty fast. And they're going to try to come in and establish the run on us. But we'll be ready for them.
Oftentimes with an open date, I know especially later in the year, a team may take off a day. Just don't practice a day during an open week. Do you do that?
There is no tomorrow. we're going to practice.
Saturday.
Where's the Saturday? We're in the middle of this COVID situation. We don't know when the plug may be pulled, so to speak. We don't know when something may happen, so we're going to plan to play, and to do that, you've got to practice. When Memorial Day, whatever it is, gets here, that Monday we'll be practicing that day as well. We're going to practice every day to get ready for that coming opponent. Yes, most of the time you do take a day off with an open week and so forth like that, but there's no need to.
With this COVID-19, before we go this morning, with this pandemic, is it in the back of your mind? I know it is in some coaches' mind. Is it in the back of your mind? You know, this could be our last game this season.
Exactly, it is, and that's why we're not taking that day off. We realize, and we want to play our very best. That's one thing I told our kids in our pregame talk against Woodland is leave it all out there on the field. And they did. Let me tell you something about that Woodland game. Those kids gave great effort all game long. The effort was there. That was not a problem whatsoever. So we want to play the very best of our ability and up to our standards of excellence every ball game, so that when we leave that field, we know we left it all there, and it could be our last game this year. We don't know.
No, absolutely. Coach John Limbaugh, the head football coach and athletic director at Fayetteville. Are there any other sports going on right now?
Absolutely, we got volleyball going on.
Okay.
So we have a great volleyball team, great girls that get out there and they give their the best effort possible, and we're excited about what they're going to bring this year. Absolutely.
They were spiking on you.
Coach Pena does go. I don't get out there with them. I wouldn't get out there with them for nothing in the world. I'm too old a dog for that. But Coach Pena does a great job with them, and they're awesome. They're fun to watch.
Coach John Limbaugh, the head football coach and athletic director of the Fayetteville Wolves, back in action next Friday night, home against Horseshoe Bend. More daybreak after this.